Welcome to a new episode of the Crew Review. We are for you. We are down Kinley and Ashley this week as they are partaking in family vacation, and we missed them. But we decided to review the Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars, because Kinley is not a fan of Star Wars, which is okay. It's just not his thing. So we decided to do it while he's gone. And we all absolutely love this movie, and we all wore Star Wars shirts. Let's go from Beth to Jennifer of what we have.
I have the Death Star on my shirt.
Black and white.
Black and white.
Love it.
Yes.
Classic.
Didn't you buy that when Force Awakens came out?
I did.
Yes.
Yes.
You did. And I'm wearing a Kylo Ren shirt from The Last Jedi. That's what it was. And I got this shirt. You and Mom brought me this shirt from Disney World a few years back.
Yes.
And then Jennifer and Carson are rocking The Force is Strong with this one.
Gift from Tessa.
Yeah, her friend Tessa. So now that we got the fashion out of the way, shall we get into it?
Sure.
All right. Beth, what is this movie about?
So yeah, just a reminder, we do spoilers if you're joining us for the first time. So if you haven't seen this movie and don't want anything spoiled, pause and come back. But for those of you who have seen this or are not afraid of spoilers, here we go.
Also, I want to say I have a really cool golden Darth Vader bobblehead that I won at a White Elephant gift exchange this previous Christmas, and it's wonderful. Also, before we start, I will also say, after I told you to start it,
I know, how dare you?
I'm sorry. I remembered something to say. And
What?
I was just going to say, if you are listening to this on the audio-only version, you can watch it on Facebook and YouTube. Or if you are watching and would rather listen only, you can go to Spotify or Apple Podcast or Google Podcast.
You can't see our cool shirts if you
But you can't see our cool shirts. You'll be listening and be like, what do they look like? I wonder. So,
What a mystery.
if you'd like to keep it a mystery, that's up to you.
All
But
the
regardless,
options.
you
Anyways.
should follow us and review us wherever so that we become super popular and we can change the world with our movie reviews.
Oh. I have lightsaber earrings
yes. Jennifer has Lego lightsaber earrings. I don't know if you can see them that far away.
I mean,
They're
those
awesome.
are only the best kind, Legos.
Yeah. Okay, Beth.
Okay.
Enough with my interruptions. Carry on.
Are you sure you're ready?
No,
Are
but
we
go
done
ahead.
with your shenanigans?
Okay. So for those of you who are not Star Wars fans, and this is your first introduction to Star Wars, this is actually the 9th installation of this series, and it supposedly is the final one. We'll see what happens in a decade. But for now, they are telling us this is the last one of the Skywalker series. And this is Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. So basically we pick up the movie, Rey is training under General Leia and learning how to become a Jedi. She started her training with Master Luke Skywalker and is now after his passing, is moved on to his sister, General Leia. And then we've got Finn and Poe who are fighting for the Resistance, trying to keep back the First Order. And things are going, okay. But all of a sudden they find out that General Palpatine is still alive. Now, for those of you who have watched the Star Wars movies, he was supposedly killed by Darth Vader, back in the day. So it's been a long time. How he survived, we're not sure. That is a great mystery, and we'll get to that.
We will.
But General Palpatine basically tells him he's got the final order of his big old flashy new army, and they're basically just going to take out any planet that doesn't submit to his rule. So that's what's going on. So Rey, Finn, and Poe decide that they're going to hunt him down and find out where his location is. They go off on this big adventure. They find Lando from the original trilogy. They find a clue that's a sword from a Sith Lord, and C-3PO can read it, but he cannot translate it. He can't tell him what it is because he's been blocked by his programming. So they have to go to Kamenji, I guess that's how you say it.
Sure.
Which is basically a planet of smugglers. We meet a cute little guy named Boba Freak, and love him. We'll talk about him more. But he basically reroutes C-3PO's programming so that they can find out where the location is of the device that will get them to Exegol, which is where Palpatine is. So along the way, they rescue Chewie from Kylo Ren's ship. All sorts of things are happening. They end up on this planet where we find the Death Star has crashed, and the key is actually in the Death Star. And so Rey goes and gets it. Kylo Ren and her have an epic laser lightsaber battle. And I know, lightsaber battle. And basically Rey wounds him and is fixing to win. And all of a sudden, General Leia dies, and they both feel her passing in the Force, and it's really sad. It's a big moment for all of us in Star Wars world. But Rey has a moment of compassion and basically heals Kylo, and then tells him, I've wanted to take your hand, I've wanted to join you, but I want to take the hand of Ben Solo, not Kylo Ren. And so Rey leaves him and goes on to find Palpatine, and then Kylo Ren has this moment where he basically lays down his persona of Kylo Ren and steps back into the shoes of Ben Solo. We do get to see Han Solo one more time, which was great. And then, so she basically uses this key to take a really complicated path to Exegol. And she faces General Palpatine and has sent her location to the Resistance. They rally, they come, they're fighting. There's this huge epic battle. They've called out to the galaxy, telling everyone where they are and requesting help. No one's coming. Things are getting really dire. And then Rey is basically battling General Palpatine. He tells her, I want you to kill me so that you will kill the Jedi lineage and basically take on the full force of the Sith. So obviously she's in a weird predicament. She needs to kill him, but she can't. It's crazy. Then this huge force of backup people come in. And then Ben Solo arrives, and Rey and Ben Solo battle Palpatine together. Then it goes down to Rey and Palpatine. And we had found out earlier in this movie that Rey is actually Palpatine's granddaughter, which was a big shocker. That was a big reveal. So, this is her lineage, and they're battling, and he's battling with all the powers of the Sith. She's battling with all the power of the Jedi. Finally kills and destroys the Emperor, and then she dies, which was really sad. But Ben Solo comes back, and he transfers his life force to her. They share a sweet kiss. He dies. Really sad moment for me. We'll talk about that later. But then we have the celebration, and everything is going well. And we end the movie with Rey taking the lightsabers of both Luke and Leia, which was a really cool reveal too, back to the home of Luke Skywalker, and she buries them and then takes on the Skywalker name, which was a really cool end. So that's the nutshell of what happened.
Yeah.
It's a very large nutshell.
Big nutshell.
So it's what, two and a half hours?
Yeah,
Of
2.5 hour movie. It's
Jam-packed.
long,
Yeah.
but it was good every time I've watched it. I remember the first time we saw it, it came out a few days before Christmas, and our whole family went on Christmas Day.
It was
kind of a tradition of doing
brutal.
that.
It was
And
brutal.
poor
not going-
Beth had to wait till Christmas Day patiently, because she usually watches movies the day they come out.
As soon as
But
they come out.
we were
Yeah.
so proud of you, Beth.
It was a great sacrifice of love, I will say that.
Yes. Man, there's a lot of moments in the movie where I remember the first time we watched it, where it was full of I didn't see that coming. Oh, no, this is happening. It kept me on my toes. So, especially with the twist of Palpatine being her grandfather and all that good stuff. But
So how do you feel about it as a conclusion to the Skywalker saga? Conclusion in air quotes.
I felt like it was okay. It had a different feel than the other movies, I feel like. But the last three have been produced by Disney.
I think that's why they had a different
They have different
feel.
directors, and The Last Jedi was just not great, but I felt that The Rise of Skywalker definitely made up for it. But it was still good, still enjoyable, but I felt like it was just a weird feeling. It didn't feel a lot like the older ones. Even though So they have 4, 5, and 6, and then they have 1, 2, and 3, and then 7, 8, 9. And I feel like 1, 2, and 3, even though they also had a different feel than 4, 5, and 6, they were still more serious movies. And I feel like 7, 8, and 9 have been a lot more comical, which is okay. I like to laugh, but I just feel like it's kind of like it just doesn't have that same feeling.
I don't know. We have a lot of good cheesy lines in the original movies as well. 4, 5,
They're
and
in
6.
there. They're
yeah.
in there. Just
But they definitely did have a different feeling. I will agree with that.
yes.
So, who is your favorite character in this movie?
I don't know, because, like, in this movie, you pretty much have all of the characters that you get to see throughout the entire trilogy, the saga. Everyone made, if not a physical appearance, at least a voice appearance. So if I had to think specifically this movie, who was my favorite character, I don't know. I feel like it's got to be one of the droids. The droids have been like some of my favorite characters.
Or was there someone you were
Ever.
like super excited made an appearance that you weren't expecting, like who came back or?
Oh God, when we first watched this movie, I was really hoping that all of the droids were going to be in there, and I was really kind of hoping to see Yoda actually show up, and he never actually had a physical appearance. Just
A little voiceover.
just heard his voice,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you knew it was him because it's Yoda.
Only one person's got that voice.
Yeah.
Truth.
So yeah, probably wish Yoda had an appearance, not just a voice.
What about you, John? Do you have a favorite character or appearance of somebody?
My favorite character of this specific movie would probably be Poe. I really like Poe, or I guess in the whole new trilogy. Like I've really liked his story, and yeah, he's just cool.
He's
But-
a good rebel.
Yeah, he is. I would say of the saga overall, I would say Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I love Chewie too.
Yeah, she really likes chewing.
I love
That's true.
Chewie.
So I, out of the new trilogy, am a huge Kylo Ren fan. I love him. He's
Why
so
am I not
great.
surprised?
Did you love him before his redemption in the
Oh,
last one?
100%.
Okay.
So I knew.
It's because you knew it was coming, right?
I did.
You
I did.
Okay.
So like in the first movie of the Force Awakens of this trilogy, and we meet Kylo Ren and we meet Rey, I'm like, I love Kylo Ren because you see this, like, he's gone to the dark side, but he has that spark of like potential redemption. There's a little flame of hope. And then we have Rey, who's just a boss, and I think she just gets better every movie. And I was like, they've got to end up together. Which at the time, with the original movie, everyone was trying to speculate, who is she? Like, is she the daughter of Luke Skywalker because she's like got his lightsaber and they're playing his song? Nobody knew who her parentage was. People speculated they might be siblings. But I was really excited that we did have a romantic kiss in the end because I was always Team Reylo. Always.
The whole 7, 8, 9, from the very beginning of 7, you don't know who Rey is or what her history is, and they just drag you along.
Oh, they do.
And it was hard because of, I mean, if you've never seen these movies, they're all out now. You could find out in one day.
Yeah.
But like having to wait years and years for them to hurry up and make these.
There were some good
Oh,
conspiracies.
goodness.
I was all about it. Yeah.
I was just like thirsting for it. I was like, please tell me. There were two things I was like thirsting for, and it was who Rey is and what the heck is Snoke's story.
Oh, yes.
Because they left us hanging on that. But kind of jumping ahead of it, in this one, this is my third time watching it because we watched it twice in theaters, and I hadn't watched it since until we were preparing for this podcast. And something I didn't even catch until this viewing was, I don't know how I missed it, but the Emperor says he made Snoke. And then there were like little Snoke-looking clones in this tube. And I was like, oh, that explains it.
Yeah.
Because I was
He's
so
a
mad. I was
clone.
like, why didn't they ever talk about him? And I was like, oh, they did. I just missed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, they did. They kept us hanging on a bunch of those things. Were you satisfied with the reveal of Rey's parentage? I felt like
yeah.
it was kind of out
Oh,
of
I thought it
left
was so
field.
cool. I don't know. I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they could have done more with that. personally.
yeah,
If
like,
they're gonna drag us along for 3 movies, I feel like they could have done a little bit more with it.
there's so much mystery, and then it's like, oh, I guess we need to like answer this. Also, I was like really shocked about General Palpatine. I feel like that was just kind of a Hail Mary out of left field. I don't know, like there was no hints that he was alive or working until this movie.
Yeah.
Also, how did he escape? I really need to know this. Like, how did he survive?
Wouldn't he?
He like blew up in the Death Star.
Well,
He blew up or he got thrown over?
Well, both, I guess, because
was thrown
Darth
into a-
Vader threw him overboard,
Yeah.
over into the abyss of the Death Star.
And then the Death
I mean,
Star
not Death Star,
crashes.
whatever it
So
was.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah. The second, what is it? The Death Star was in the 4th one, and they make a second one, right?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was in
I
the
don't
second
remember
one.
what it was
I-
called though.
But anyway,
Baby
Darth
Born.
Vader kills him, supposedly.
Yeah.
Which, granted, we didn't see a body, and my policy is until I see a body, I don't believe they're dead.
Well-
and even then, I'm questioning.
When we watched, another surprising thing was when we watched the movie Solo. At the end, you find out Darth Maul is alive.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I was hoping he was
shocked
coming
by
back.
that.
I know. I would have been so cool if they brought him back.
Yes.
He's so cool.
They left that hanging. They must
Which
even have some
apparently,
more
if
movies
I
in
had
mind.
watched the Clone Wars, they had actually
They explained
revealed
that.
that Darth Maul survived.
I don't know how I feel about them making a cartoon part of canon, but
But
I
they
mean,
do that
They can
to
do what
us.
they want. It's just
It's the Star
You gotta
Wars
watch it all.
universe. They can been around since 76,
Yeah.
77.
It's a lot.
they didn't
going on.
ask me, but that's okay.
Yeah.
They can do what they want.
So, but yeah, I had a lot of questions about this movie in general. So, first of all, do you have any theories on how the Emperor came back? Like, any thoughts at
Well,
all?
all right. So my theory is, I mean, it doesn't say exactly how, but he has the power over death. Like because he explains that in the 3rd movie, Return of the
That's
Sith.
true.
He tells Anakin that's what he entices him with. He's like, I can give you the power even to bring people back from the dead. And he wasn't kidding. I thought he was just bluffing, but he had that power. He could bring himself back.
I would love to know how they do that, though. Like,
Yeah. They didn't go into
they
specifics.
didn't explain. I have questions.
So-
I feel like we need another movie.
Yeah. It says, call it episode 9.5, What Really Happened to the Emperor.
Yes, like just on the Emperor. I also feel like, it's supposed to be the conclusion of this like storyline. We know that there are many storylines in the Star Wars universe, so we will have many more movies. But like for this main storyline, it's supposedly concluded. But they like set up so many great ones. Like what happened to the Emperor? Who is Rey's grandmother? Also, like, what happened with the Emperor and his son, like Rey's father?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why did they have a falling out?
Yeah, they
you
don't
would-
explain any of that.
Because you would think, like, okay, yes, your father's the most evil man in the universe, but he's still your father. So, like,
Right.
what was the driving point where they decided to flee and sell her into slavery to save her?
Yeah,
Did he have the Force? Did he not have the Force? I have a lot of questions on that.
yeah.
And then we have Poe, who we find out was a spice smuggler. I want to hear that story.
Yeah, I know. That would be a whole good movie. That kind of like how they did Solo.
Yeah, Solo.
Yeah,
I
and
feel like
and
they
like
could do that
the
with Poe.
spark between him and Sori would be
Yeah.
really great. I feel like he was played by Kerry Russell. I liked that.
Have they announced any other like spin-off movies?
Not to my knowledge. They could have, and I wasn't paying attention. Yeah,
I don't think they have.
So.
yeah. I don't know. There's so many things that they could just spin off because they left a lot of
They
questions
did.
in the air.
One that I saw that you added here was what about Broom Boy from the last movie?
Yes.
They never explained that.
I mean, let's just talk about like the end of. Granted, The Last Jedi was not the best movie, but whatever. We end with some really interesting things about like the rising up of these people, and then we find out like this random kid, Broom Kid as we call
Broom
him,
Kid.
Broom Boy. He has like the ability to use the Force because
Yeah.
he moves the broom with it. So
It
what's
was
going on
easy.
with
It was
this?
easy to miss if you missed it. It was at the very, 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 very end, the very last scene, and he lived on the casino planet, and he was one of the little boys that helped with the animals, clean the animals or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. And then you just see him pick up a broom, but it was just very slight, like very quick, so you couldn't miss it. But he used the Force to pick up his broom, and it's like, what?
I really thought we were going to do more with this.
I
Like, there was
know.
going to be, like, a whole bunch of people who were, like, one with the Force. A Jedi army that was untrained, but they were there.
Yeah.
Maybe Yoda's been training them as his ghost
What
figure.
do you think about Broom Boy?
I feel like it's dangling there for us to contemplate and think about, and because they're working on something.
They were like, let's write this in because one day.
Because I know they haven't forgotten about
Somebody
putting that
in
in
the
there.
world.
Someone's doing something with that story.
Somebody with
We
a
just have to wait and
podcast can
see.
fill in the gaps for us one day in the future.
Was there any conspiracy theories about that, Beth, on your research?
Did you research that?
I
Or did you-
didn't.
was drunk?
I didn't. I
All
was
right.
just mad that we didn't talk about it.
Right here, right now, end the story for Broom Boy. What happens to him?
Well, we have Rey as the new Master Jedi, and
Okay.
so she goes around the world or the galaxy and starts training up a Jedi army.
Didn't that kid also have the ring? What's the word I'm looking for?
The little signet ring.
Or did
that had the
Rose
resistant,
give that
or-
to him?
I think she gave it to him. I
Okay.
can't remember.
I can't. I
Yeah.
need to watch that movie again.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where I'm like, I feel like we need a conclusion. Another thing that I'm really upset about that we did not get answers to. What was Finn going to tell her in the sand pit?
Yeah, I agree. I kept waiting for them to circle back to that, and they never did.
Yeah.
I'm outraged.
I mean,
You
it kind of
cannot
alluded to
dangle-
like it might have been like a love thing, like I've always liked you, kind of a thing. I don't know, because they always like
But he
they
was
played
he was
it.
into Rose last
I
movie.
know. I didn't think he was going to say he was in love with her then, but he could have said something like, "I had a crush on you at the beginning" or something. I don't anymore, but I do. I did
Well,
at the beginning. don't
I
know.
just feel like he was a weird character. I didn't know what to do with Finn because
That's
like
fair.
they played up a lot of like romantic interest, which I was not about because I was all about Raylo. Sorry, Finn, you're awesome, but like Raylo all
Yeah.
the way. But they had this romantic interest, but then we have Rose, but then like they're like buddy. Like
It's like each movie, they give him a girl and then they take it away. It's
Yeah.
a girl,
Weird.
take it away. What was in the last one? Did he have a girl in this one?
he kind of like had Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was like super protective of Rey, but like more than a friend.
Oh,
Who's
it
the
was the
girl
other
on the horse?
stormtrooper. The other stormtrooper girl. It was like, oh, is he
Yeah.
going to spark with her now? And then, I don't know. It feels like he finds a girl in each movie, and then they do an epic battle together, and then that's it.
That's the
And
end of it.
They go their
they're
way.
friends. He's friend zoned. You go in battle with the girl, you're friend zoned.
Friend-zoned.
That's what he did.
I don't know, but how dare you dangle this in and not answer it, and then we bring it up to rub salt in the wounds. We bring it up again because Poe asked him what he was going to tell Rey.
Yeah.
And then he still doesn't say.
And then they never
dead.
never circled
I'm
back.
dead. Come on, people.
Mm.
Okay. Third thing.
Okay.
How did Maz end up with Luke Skywalker's
I know. Oh,
lightsaber?
good. I'm glad you thought of that because I kept thinking when I was watching the second one, I was like, oh, they'll just explain it.
I
They'll explain
thought that they explained that in the last movie.
it. Did they?
That he had given it to her for safekeeping.
She just
don't know, maybe.
she just
she did, I
dangles
remember- I
this
forgot.
in the
Or the
first movie of like it's a story
Not
for
second
another
one,
time.
The first one, maybe. The first movie.
Nope, they've never told.
Hmm.
They've never connected the dots. I need answers. Is this in the Clone Wars?
We really got to watch those Clone Wars. Apparently, they still
All of my
make new episodes.
Oh, that's great.
So
Or maybe The Mandalorian. I'll hold out hope.
it's in there somewhere. It's in the
Somewhere.
behind the scenes of the Mandalorian. They talk about it.
Oh yes, all the things.
There's also a bajillion books that probably have,
So true. I have a lot of research to do, guys.
which none of these were based on books. I don't think of the 7, 8, 9, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I, could be
I don't
wrong about
know.
that.
No,
So-
I assume they were books, but I don't know. I haven't read them.
And then you have video games. They may drop things in the video games. Who
Yeah.
knows? So,
Anyway, it's a vast universe.
It is.
Full of things to explore. But
Indeed.
if someone has answers, let me know.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep her up at night if y'all don't let her
It
know.
really does. I'll come up with all sorts of conspiracy theories. For sure, for sure.
What's this question you had about connection between Lando and Janna? Who's Janna?
Okay, that's the girl,
girl
that there was some sparks with Finn.
Finn.
Oh,
was hanging
yeah,
with.
yeah.
How did you feel, Jennifer? I need to know. Like, that scene with Lando and Jana, like, wasn't that weird? Did that hit you weird?
It did hit me weird. I thought it was weird that he said, well, let's find out, when she didn't know where she came from. He's like, oh, well, let's find out. I'm like, how are you going to
Yeah.
find out?
That was very odd.
What are you going to do?
Well, like, it like had a weird vibe for me.
It was like if you watched it for the first time, it's what did I miss? This is the first time they're seeing each other. What did I miss?
He never mentioned having chill. I'd have to go way back.
No, but like, here's the thing. I feel like it gave off like creepy vibes of like, I may be your father or I may be your lover. I wasn't quite sure what direction we were going in with the.
My mind
Let's
definitely
drop it
didn't go to
off.
lover, but
I think it went
did
more to
maybe
family.
related. Yeah.
But they never indicated anything like that with Lando in any previous movies, so it's kind of weird that they suggested that. I mean, she said that she was taken from her family at an early age, so she doesn't, which is why she doesn't know where she's from. But
Yeah. I don't know.
if he didn't say anything about having his child taken away from him, I feel like there was a connection.
It just
there.
left a weird vibe for me. And I was wondering if
It was weird. It was very
It was
weird.
weird.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. It's a weird scene.
It's a weird
that
moment.
We can't do anything about it.
Okay, so let's talk about the ends of our dear queen, General Leia. They actually used extra footage of her because the actress Carrie Fisher, died before they made this movie. So they used old footage of like leftover footage from the Last Jedi, I think, to make this.
Yeah.
Do we feel like they gave her a good end?
Yeah.
I think they pieced it together really well for her to have had the ending I think that they were hoping for. They're lucky they had the footage that they did
Yeah.
to use.
But both her and Luke, they both ended that way. They're like, I'm going to do one cool thing with the Force, and then I'm going to pass away. And they did.
I mean, go big or go home.
Exactly, I guess.
Go big and go out.
Go big and go out.
Go out with the
Oh,
Force.
man.
I love it. I would have liked for there to have been a little bit more of a moment for her, but, or for both of them, like some kind of a memorial moment.
She really didn't do anything with the Force, though. She just contacted her
She
kid.
did.
I mean, she was
She
just kinda
contacted
like-
him through the Force.
It's like, hey, I'm dead.
No. What a moment. What a moment.
I definitely, so we all knew before Last Jedi was released that Carrie Fisher passed away.
Yes.
And then in the film itself, in The Last Jedi, there's the scene where her body gets launched out into space.
So true.
And I was like, oh, that's
That's how they ended
sad,
her.
but that's the perfect out. She died in real life. She died in battle or whatever in the ship. I was like, oh, that's understandable. And then when she started doing the whole Mary Poppins thing and like floated to the ship, I was like, no, why did you keep her? I mean, not that that's a bad thing, but I was just like, she was gone. But then I guess I felt better about it when I found out they had extra footage and could make it work.
Yeah.
But it was just weird. I was just like, no, she's
That scene
not
was
gonna
so
make it.
crazy in the second one where
Yeah.
she's like bringing herself back to the ship. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess too, like, so we lose our three iconic characters over 3 movies. So we lose Han Solo in The Force Awakens. We lose Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. And then we lose Leia in The Rise of Skywalker. So,
yeah, the trio.
yeah. So I guess they each have like their own.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't take them all out in one movie.
Can't. There would be riots.
There would be riots in the street, I'm sure. But yeah, it's just kind of like she had that huge moment. We were all sad and emotional, and it would have been really good. And I just kind of feel like this one was like a really quiet end.
Yeah, that's true. I really liked how they brought back Han and had that emotional scene with Kylo when he was like,
Let's pause there, right there.
Oh, pause.
Han. I talked to John about this when we were watching this again. Why did Han not show up as a ghost?
He wasn't a Jedi.
yeah. He wasn't a Jedi, so
So how was he even able to show up in the first place then?
Well, Kylo does say that he's part of his subconscious.
So you think maybe he was just feeling his
He was, like-
his spirit?
Yeah, like he was like remembering, like, you
Remembering.
know, like I guess like sometimes like when you're little and you
It's like
Imagine.
Ratatouille when he talks to the cook.
yes, Ratatouille talks to the cook. It's exactly this.
I'm just a figment of your imagination.
Just a figment. Yes, yeah. But I was glad that they snuck him back in there.
I'm glad that they did, but I was really confused. I'm like, this doesn't follow any of the protocols that they've done with previous people
Yeah.
showing up after they're dead.
That could have been the difference of why all the other Jedis were like blue, glow, see-through, and he was not. That's
Yeah.
probably what it was.
Maybe. I'll give you that.
Okay, so speaking of people coming back, like this is another thing that I want answers to. We get to the end of the movie, she's burying their lightsabers, which is cool. I was really upset about it. At first I was like, those are really cool lightsabers. Those are rare. Why are we burying them?
Yeah.
But then she has her own, which we can talk about
It
her
did
own.
bother me too. I was like, oh, they're perfectly good.
Also, like, she just puts them in the sand. Like, what is happening? But we have Luke and Leia who come back and basically, like, give her the blessing to carry on their name, which is cool because they both mentored her. But where was Ben Solo, who is also, like, has power of the Force? He definitely became one with the Force because he disappeared. I feel like he should have made a comeback.
I think he didn't show up there because that wasn't his starting place. Was there, you know, like that's not where his home that he grew up in. That was,
Well, Leia didn't either.
but Luke did, and that's where the whole story started.
Yeah.
Was kind of started with Luke. I mean, we end with Leia, but we started with Luke because they went out of order when they filmed these things for some reason. And right there, and that was Tatooine, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
But it's just, yeah. I feel
I
like
felt I was fine with Ben not being there.
I felt like he
personally.
should have been.
I just felt like it should have only been Luke because Leia did not grow up there.
Yeah.
It wasn't her home.
Which I get, like, both of them being twins,
Both of them mentored her.
both being her
too,
mentor.
through the Jedi.
Yeah.
process. But I'm like, technically, Ben helped her with her Jedi process. Like, he, like, pushed her to realize, like, her true power. Like, she had a lot of power,
Yeah.
which is a great scene. I feel like we should talk about Chewie getting kidnapped. What a sad moment.
Oh my gosh, the first time we saw that, it was like you knew it was the 9th movie and they were closing the story. So at that point, you're like, anybody could die at any second.
Everyone
It
could
could literally
die.
happen. And especially after we saw Han Solo die in Force Awakens, you're like, oh gosh, he really is dead. Like they aren't playing around. This is Walking Dead serious. They're getting rid of characters here. And so I was like, I felt it. I was like, oh my gosh, Chewie is dead.
I was very upset when we thought
was.
Chewie was dead because I do love Chewie. He's just so big and lovable.
I did love how it happened though with the electricity. Like it was just so cool.
good.
It's powerful.
So for those of you who can't remember what we're talking about, like they are on this planet looking for the clue. They have the Knife of the Sith, and they're getting ready to leave, and they know that Kylo Ren's there. And I love this scene where Rey just goes, like she senses he's there, and just like goes out into the desert and just waits for him.
Yeah.
And then you finally pick up on the sound of his whatever spaceship thing
Yeah.
that he's in, a little pod thing. And then like she just runs and backflips onto the
Such
thing
an
and
epic scene.
slices off a wing.
This
So
was
good.
if
That was
you
a very
remember,
good
this
move.
was a teaser trailer before the full trailers came out. That was like one of the first ones that came out, and it was just that scene, and it was so cool. It just like put chills down your spine. Like I need to know what's happening. Oh, so good.
So
Very
good.
acrobatic, very good.
Yeah.
So you have this great moment, and then all of a sudden, like Chewie has been kidnapped. The shuttle is taking off. They tell Rey, and she just like stops the shuttle in the air with her hand. And you think, oh my gosh, Chewie's saved. This is great. And then Kylo Ren like starts tugging on it. So, and then you want to talk about the power.
The power of like the electricity.
At that
Yeah.
moment, yeah.
Yeah, so that moment was really cool. I loved how it happened. It threw me off. I was like, oh my word, she has Palpatine's powers. That is
Yeah.
so cool. And I was kind of let down that she didn't use it more often in the movie. That was the only time. Like I was
That
I
is
was
a
hoping
good point.
I was hoping there was a way that she could be good and still use that power, but I guess it was like a dark only power or something, I guess. because that was when she was on the line. But
I mean, she could have
It's-
zapped a lot of assists with that.
yeah, and and I'll go into like one of my favorite scenes. I had two favorite scenes. One
Okay.
of my favorite scenes was at the very end when Palpatine just raises his hand up and electrocutes all the ships at the same time. It was so cool, and then especially in the theaters, like
Yeah.
it's so loud, and like you could just like all the music goes out and just goes. Bah! It's like, wow, such a powerful scene, and but then I was kind of let down because I was hoping as soon as he finished that Rey would do it to his ships, and I was like, that would be so cool if after she killed him, she did it, and she didn't. But they didn't read my mind. They didn't ask me. So.
That would have been
That's how I
good
would've
if they
done
had
it,
used
so.
her powers more effectively.
And then my other favorite scene was just her and Kylo battling on that ocean and on the Death Star ring.
Oh, yes.
Just such a cool. It kind of made up for the lack of lightsaber battles in The Last Jedi because there really wasn't any lightsaber battles. There was
True tragedy. That's
Rey-
what we're all here for.
Rey and Kylo Ren back to back fighting the Snoke's army
Yeah.
or his little guard or whatever.
Minions or whatever.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a lightsaber battle. They used lightsabers, but they didn't fight each other. So this was like a huge, long scene of a massive lightsaber battle, and it was very satisfying. And it wasn't the only one. There were others in the movie.
Yes.
So, but it was such a good, like that whole, like everything that happened in the Death Star was so cool. I loved it.
What about you, Jennifer? Do you have a favorite scene of this movie?
Favorite scene. Do I have a favorite scene? I don't know if I could.
When
narrow
Chewie
it
was
down.
playing chess.
That. I have a shirt with that actually. This is Let the Wookiee Win, and it's got the whatever kind of, it's basically chess that they have. It's
Yeah.
picture, because I love that from whatever movie it's in 4. I think it's episode 4, where Chewie likes to play the chess and he gets so upset. And was it Rey that calls him to come to the front? Orlando calls him to come to the front, and he's like, he tells him, I was like, don't turn it off, because he was about to win.
Yeah.
And they were accusing him of cheating. And
he
he's like,
turns
I'm
it
not
off.
cheating. They turn it off anyways. It's funny.
Oh man.
That's a pretty good scene. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's just a running joke through all the movies about him and playing chess.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
So I really love
The kissing scene.
Well, that was a good scene. I was waiting for that for 3 movies. But all throughout this series, like Kylo Ren and Rey have like this weird connection through the Force, where he can see her and she can see him, and
I
they can
loved how
and they
they did
can
that.
battle, but apparently they can't see the other surroundings,
Right.
which is really cool. And so I've loved how they've incorporated that. And then so we get through this movie, and like one of the reasons like he finds out where she is she accidentally breaks Darth Vader's mask, and so he knows that she's on his ship. So you have those throughout, but my favorite one is Rey is like trying to figure out how she's going to take care of the Emperor without becoming the next Empress,
yeah.
and taking on the power of the Sith. And Kylo Ren is surrounded by his knights, and they have this moment where they just kind of like nod at each other, and they've been connected through the Force. So Palpatine doesn't know, the knights don't know, and she basically holds her hand behind her back, and he gets the lightsaber from her, and then she pulls out
That was
another
so
lightsaber.
cool. Everything,
So good!
all of those scenes, how they did that, the filming of that is so cool.
Oh,
And
yes.
even like when they are doing their lightsaber battles, not even in the same place. Like if anybody else is watching, they just see somebody with the lightsaber, and it keeps stopping. I would love to see somebody else's angle, like
Oh,
what do they
that's
do? And like make a joke out of it or something. Like there they go again, they're losing it again. But I loved how they filmed it, and then like different elements of each other's surroundings popped up, like you said. But like at one point, it was like the red rocks or whatever.
I think it was
That really
berries
cool.
or something.
Or berries,
Yeah.
maybe that's what
It's
it
in a
was.
basket.
And then he grabs her necklace. I was like, whoa! It was so
Yeah.
cool.
But the
Loved it.
hands off with the lightsaber.
That-
Well done.
And it was kind of like as it was building up, you knew it was going to happen, but it didn't bother you that you kind of like guessed it. It was like, oh, this is cool. It
Yeah.
was just taken in the moment.
Definitely. I feel like those were well done. Well done indeed.
Did we talk about what our favorite lines? We didn't talk about that, did we?
You know, I'm trying to decide like what my favorite line would be, and honestly, I didn't land on one. I had a few that I liked, but I didn't land on one. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Mine was my second favorite character in this particular movie was C-3PO. Like the ultimate comic relief. Oh my goodness, he was so funny about how they had to reprogram him, and he's talking Sith, and his eyes turn red, but they had to like erase his memory. And then somebody mentions Baba Freak, and he goes, Baba Freak, he's one of my oldest friends. That's my favorite line, because he just met him, but it was literally, since his memory wiped, his first person he met. Oh, it's so funny.
I love, like, now Boba Freak is so cute.
He is.
I wish he had had a bigger part, because he was really funny, and we didn't understand anything he said. And so he's like, the droid is ready! But other than that, we had no idea what he said. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't know a favorite line, but I did like how they did continue with the line that they have in all of the movies where it says, I have a bad feeling about this.
Oh, yeah.
That Lando said in this movie. And I'm like, okay, great. I am a little irked, and my father shares this with me when they did it in, I think it was this movie.
The Last Jedi, they did.
They had a droid say it, but they had a droid that you could understand what they were saying. Yeah. And that's how the director played it off.
And you don't know that that's supposed to be what he said.
That's what
we found this out because we looked it up on Google later.
Anything.
We were like, have a bad feeling about this Last Jedi. And it says, yes, it is understood that BB-8 says it in the movie.
I'm like, you can't do that. But I am glad that they had it understood.
Yeah.
And that it was a character who actually had not said it yet, I don't think, in the trilogy, in the saga. That was one of my favorite. Anything Leia says almost is a good line, too.
Yeah.
Orlando. They both had very sage wisdom to provide to Rey.
Did you have a favorite droid? We've had a lot of good ones.
In this particular one, C-3PO, it's my favorite droid.
In this movie?
Yeah, in this specific movie.
I don't know.
We also like
the new little guy. Was really cute.
Like, no,
I like BB-8 in the last two,
you.
and I like BB-8 in this one too. But this new little, I don't remember his name.
I don't either. But my favorite droid in the whole series, if we're including the spin-offs, I want to say the one in Rogue One, the battle droid.
Oh yes.
That was like very sassy.
He was so sassy.
And one of my favorite lines of his is when like they shoot a droid that looks just like him. And he's like, "You knew that wasn't me, right?" Like, oh, so funny.
He was a great comic relief in a very serious movie.
Yeah. But if I had to stick with just the 9 films, I'd still say C-3PO. What about you?
I feel like BB-8 won me over.
Did he?
Like R2-D2 was always like close to my heart. I liked him because he's sassy. But then BB-8 just kind of won me over.
I would say BB-8 was great in the 7th one. Like, he had a lot of comedic moments. And I loved the whole, when Finn was trying to get him to help him, like, lie to Rey about who he really was. And he does a little thumbs up at the little fire. It was great.
Oh, so good. So good.
So they had a lot of variations of lightsabers in this movie.
Yes.
So you have your original, your one lightsaber.
Yep.
You had Kylo Ren with his sword-looking lightsaber, which seems impractical.
Yeah.
And then you had Empress Rey, if she were to become the Sith, in her vision, with her really cool-looking double sword that she could flip out into the double, which is basically what Darth Maul had.
Except you could collapse it.
Yeah, you could collapse it. So it's pretty cool. And then on top of that, her yellow lightsaber.
Yes.
Which, yellow is my favorite color. So I was like, I want that.
I want to know, again, how did she get her own lightsaber? What is the story behind this? Like, because they have to go on a journey. It's a big deal. Why did she get yellow? Because, you know, we've seen a lot of red and blue. Occasionally you'll get green,
Nice one, do that
purple. But like most of them are red and blue, so yellow. What does that mean?
Well, the way
built their own.
when you build your lightsaber, it's the crystal that makes the color. So whatever stone you use, I
And there's
guess.
a name for it. They've mentioned it.
Oh,
I
did
don't
they?
remember.
Yeah.
They have in the saga,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not in this. I don't
I just
remember
want to
what
like.
it's
I would
called.
like to have seen that
I know that
moment.
they mention it though.
Yeah, and
It's a big
as
deal
far
for
as
her.
Mace Windu, they weren't going to include purple in the colors of it. He specifically said, if Samuel L. Jackson said, if I get a lightsaber, it has to be purple, and so they wrote it in for him.
Love it.
So
Love it. Demand that color. So
he's in Marvel and Star Wars, and he's pretty much in every industry and every movie.
that's true.
He's in a lot of movies.
He's racking them up.
Oh, who had Darth Vader's voice? Who was that?
Darth Vader's voice?
The
Oh,
original one. Who am I thinking of?
Oh, hold on. I'll look it up. I know who you're talking about.
So
'Cause
in
that's who I
this
was
movie,
picturing.
we had another big reveal, which we've mentioned multiple times. Like, how did you feel about
James
it
Earl Jones.
Thank you.
when we find out that Leia was basically a Jedi and walked away from her training? I guess maybe she finished her training and then walked away because she was a master Jedi for Rey. But like, that was a very exciting moment for me. I don't know how it was for you, but
I mean, it was kind of fun because you don't see very many females. You kind of do during the clone episodes when there was more Jedi around. Saw a few female Jedi, but no one we really knew. And then to know Leia was one was kind of very empowering because she's a princess, but she's also, you know, she's not bad to the bone, but hardcore.
she's a boss. Yeah.
Yeah, hardcore. So what kind of an awesome role model is that for all girls everywhere?
Well, I like that she didn't get gypped because for a while there I was like, oh, they're twins. Like Luke
She
got all
got
the
no
power
powers.
and she
Yeah.
didn't. But oh no, she's equally as awesome, which was really fun. Which we did find out in the second one of this trilogy when she like floats through space. But
Yeah.
you know,
What of all 9 movies is your favorite? Not the spin-offs, but just the 9, if you had to pick one.
not the spinoffs. But I don't know.
I don't know that either.
I don't know. I like them all for different reasons, and I know like for Star Wars fans, like there are some definitely strong opinions about the original trilogy versus like 1, 2, and 3. A lot of people like disown those. I actually loved them because I loved the love story of Anakin Skywalker, and I also liked watching the origin story of Darth Vader. I liked seeing him become darker and darker, and what was that switch for him. But I don't know. I don't have a favorite.
I'm
I
not
like them
gonna-
all for different reasons.
I don't think I can pick a favorite right now.
Mine has always been Attack of the Clones. And I get a lot of flack from that a lot of times from people because most people do not like that one. But I thought it was just so cool seeing an army of Jedi in this massive war with the clones. And like when they're in the Colosseum and you just see all the lightsabers lighting up all over, like it just gave me chills. I was like, holy cow, this is cool. This is Star Wars. And it was just, I loved it. So
yeah.
good.
I do miss like even though people hate the 1, 2, and 3 episodes, I do like the fact there are more Jedis in there. So it just that part is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another thing about Attack of the Clones that I liked is, what's not that bad guy, but you know who I'm talking about. The guy who plays Gandalf who was in here in that movie. What was his name?
I don't know.
Let me look it up real quick. That's going to bother me.
You're
You know
going
what I'm
deep.
talking about, right?
What's your point?
I'll tell you the point as soon as I know his name. His name is Count Dooku. That's his name.
Oh. He didn't play Gandalf?
No, that's not a Gandalf.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
No.
Lord of the Rings. Oh, Saruman. Sorry, Saruman. The other. That's what I meant.
Sorry, I was like, I don't think
Brand new to Lord of the Rings knew that wasn't Gandalf. I love you.
Well,
Your point, though, is Count Dooku.
yeah. So, like, he's portrayed as a bad guy, but if you think about it, he was really a good guy the whole time because he he was against the Republic, which turned out to be the Emperor.
Yes.
And I was just like, this guy had it right.
Yes.
And he's portrayed as a bad guy. It's crazy.
I mean,
So, anyway.
all the things, all the twists and turns. So we ready to wrap this up?
I guess so.
Oh, yes.
Were you going to say something else?
No.
Okay. All right. What'd you rate it?
I rated it a 6.
A 6?
Yeah.
Right on.
I thought it was a fun and enjoyable movie. As part of fandom, I liked it. I did have a lot of plot holes and a lot of questions that I would like answered, but yeah, I gave it a 6.
7.5 for me. It was good. Plot holes, again, yeah.
No.
A few things I didn't care for how they turned out, but for the most part, awesome movie. Loved it.
I honestly had not thought about my rating until just now. I'll go with a 7.
A 7, okay.
7. I do really enjoy it. I am a true Star Wars fan at heart, but I'll give it a 7.
Oops. I just accidentally
Not a
deleted
number.
my number. I'm not Kinley. Kinley does this on the fly. Plus 7.5. Oh, 7. Right? Isn't that
Yeah.
math?
You
right
didn't do my number right, that's fine.
You said 6, right?
Yeah, and you did 6.5.
Oh, did I?
Be 6.
All right. I gave it a 7.5, right? 7.5 plus 6 plus 7, right?
Yeah.
Divided by 3. 6.83. Okay. 6.83.
So really a
with
7.
line.
If you round it up.
Yeah. Cool.
So
All right. Well, tune in next week because we're going to
Wow.
we're going to be
Words are hard.
reviewing Maleficent, the Mistress of Evil, which is available on Disney Plus, and we should have Kinley and Ashley back from the beach, tanned or burnt. We'll see. Till then, we go big tonight.
Bye.